Odell Willis just jumped out to me. I mean, the pick six in the first quarter was, I think a game changer. Or I mean, it set the tone in the first half, and he just seemed like he was in the right place at the right time most of the night. I mean, he had a few bad penalties, but including one on the pick six. But I think that's maybe the most Odell Willis thing you'll ever see. This is just to throw the football into the stands after and pick up the objectionable conduct, I think. But no, I mean, there's so many different facets of that offense that are working. I mean, Odell stood out last night, just going back to where he'd really started. I mean, he started his career in Calgary, but he really defined himself in Winnipeg. And just it was cool to see him go back and do so well, and and help take his new team now to 4-0. I said it a couple weeks ago. I think Odell's playing his best football as an Eskimo. He's getting close to reestablishing who he was in Winnipeg, kind of building that same reputation again.
Yeah, he had a quarterback sack too. I think he got recovered a fumble about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like
way deep in the play. Absolutely, he was running to the ball.
Yeah, but he was back there before the ball came loose. And
yep, he goes into pass coverage actually more than you think.
Yeah, well, they move those guys around. You can't keep track of them sometimes. Speaking of you're talking about the penalty he took for throwing the ball in the stands. What is with that?
I mean, Chris Jones tried to explain it to us last night because we kind of asked the same thing. You see that happen every week. I don't know if there's been a penalty called. I don't think there's been a penalty called on it around the league. But I mean, it's a very common thing to see the guy run into the end zone and throw the ball into the stands. I always think, and I mean, this is just my own thought on it, is that Odell Willis maybe has a reputation. I think the refs watch him a little more closely, and the flags seem to follow certain players. I think that was an instance of it. I asked Chris Jones about that last night. He said no, he didn't think so. But you see that in sports. I thought that's what was happening to him.
Yeah, because I don't think Guyton got a penalty when he threw his ball into the stands.
Maybe a defensive player can't do it.
Yeah. Well, actually, you have a theory about that, right, John?
Well, they talked about it on the broadcast last night that the teams this year are supplying their own footballs for offensive series. And so when you intercept the ball and take it to the end zone, that's not your ball. That's the in this case, Winnipeg's ball. So you fire it into the stands, you're depleting their supply of game balls that they have supplied for that particular game. I don't know. I didn't know. I wasn't sure whether Guyton got a penalty or not. He did the same thing. And I'm sure that's many players would do that. I mean, in Willis's case, I believe it was his first career interception. It's a huge play to start the game. They're all fired up. I think it was just a reaction. I mean, it was the receiver or the running back, I guess, ball blew off his hands, off his head, and right into Odell's arms. I mean, it would have been a real, disaster if he dropped that one. It went right to him. I mean, he wouldn't have to work too hard to get it. It just had to be there.